Just have a delay here. Okay. Cool. I think we're live.
It looks like we are.
Yeah, nice. Cool. Hello, everyone. So we are here on Hasura Streams with Nader Labid, developer advocate at AWS. Hi, Nader.
What's up? Welcome myself to the show.
Yeah, welcome to the show. Yeah, I should have done that.
No, I'm just joking around.
Yeah.
No, it's awesome. Thank you for having me. We've been talking about this collaboration for months and months. So I'm glad that we finally made it happen. And it wasn't me that finally made it happen. Vladimir did all the work here. So thank you for setting all this up. I'm really pumped up to learn more about Hasura.
Yeah, I mean, I need to learn more about Amplify, right? And you need to learn more about Hasura. After all, we both of us are doing things in three-factor app architecture pattern with reliable GraphQL and serverless and eventing. As far as I know, AppSync does in the same way, and Hasura does in the same way. And we both want to make community better, after all, right? So it's kind of opportunity for both of us to learn from each other and to live stream that, and we will see how stuff will go, right? So maybe we'll have mistakes. I mean, this is live coding, live stream, so you never know.
Yeah, it is. And on Twitch, you can actually record a pre-recorded video and upload it.
Yeah.
But that's not what we're doing here. This is actually live. But in the future, if you watch some of my Twitch streams, I think I'm going to be doing some of that pre-recording to kind of iron out some of the bugs. But it's not really as fun. So I don't know. Anyway, I'm glad that we're doing it live. So this should be fun.
Yeah, actually, pre-recording is also a cool thing to do. I do a lot of traveling, right? And when I travel to conferences, I cannot stream, so somebody from the team streams, which is really cool. We have really amazing content on our Twitch channel, on our YouTube. So if you haven't checked that yet, just go and check. Every week on Thursdays, we have this stream. Today is just a little bit different. Today is Wednesday because we both are in travel conference streak, I guess. And yeah.
And then when you're done with these videos, they basically go up on YouTube, right?
Yeah, that's right. Hasura HQ YouTube channel. And I should probably also pre-record stuff and put more than once a week, but we will see how it goes. For now, we're just doing once a week, but we'll see.
Okay, so let's talk about what are we going to be building. We're going to be building a GraphQL API with Hasura, and then we're going to be basically putting authentication in front of a React application that's then going to interact with the Hasura backend.
Yeah, that's right. So we will try to we will try to make this stream fairly short. We don't have hours and hours to work on that, right? But what we'll try to do, we will create GraphQL API with Hasura. Then we will set up authentication with Amplify and with AWS Cognito. We will define everything that we need to make it work with Hasura. And we will add this to our React application. We will it will be a really simple React application. Maybe we will just show a token and then we'll see we can log in, but we'll see how it goes. As far as I know, Amplify has this authenticator component or something like that, right? So maybe if you show me around, we can do something more with more advanced UI, I guess.
Cool, let's do it.
Yeah, so first of all, just a brief overview if you're first time on this channel, first time wondering what is Hasura, and for you Nader, to explain a little bit further, right? What we have here. So we here on Hasura website, and we have a bunch of options to get started with Hasura. So we have AWS and Google Cloud and Microsoft and basically and DigitalOcean and basically everything that Hasura runs in Docker container in a nutshell. So you can run it anywhere. You can run it locally. You can run it on the AWS. using like RDS and Fargate, and there's actually a blog post about that, how to run Hasura on AWS. It's on blog.hasura.io, so you're welcome to check this out. Now, what we will start, because it will be like really simple, I think a minute of setup. We will start with Heroku, and it's kind of advised way to play around with it, because I mean you just you don't need to, well, you need to log in, right? But apart from login, you just deploy this to Heroku, and you will have a template brought here. This is Heroku dashboard, right? So nothing fancy here. Oh man, I need to get this video recording card because my CPU is skyrocketing because of OBS software. But anyway, so we'll do an AWS sample app. And as you can see, we have Heroku Postgres add-on, right? So we can run on top of new Postgres or existing Postgres. We will be creating like really simple one. So we'll run on top of new. Let's deploy our app. And actually, you can put a stopwatch because it will take literally 30 seconds to deploy everything, which is pretty cool, I think. And
so yeah, that's really cool. So you basically, this will kind of like take an example backend and deploy it for you, or what exactly, I guess, is being created is my question.
Yeah, so basically empty Postgres database and the engine itself running Docker container. So the engine itself is actually a compiler that compiles Postgres database to GraphQL schema. Well, let's see it in action, actually. It will be easier to explain. So we have this engine as our app in Heroku, and it's connected to Postgres, empty Postgres. So right now, we don't have anything here in Graphical and Documentation Explorer and like nothing, right? But you see it's kind of graphical on steroids. So we have headers here, we have we have the endpoint that we can copy. And basically this is available not only in Hasura. There is a tool called Graphical Online. So if you search for this tool on in Hasura repo, and I will share the link later on. So if you just a second, let me open the stream chat, so I will see if there are any questions. So yeah, so this tool is available. So if you want just to send headers to your GraphQL API, it's not only Hasura but something else, you can totally use this tool. But here with Hasura, we have in the engine itself, we have 4 tabs, and the data tab, which is something we are currently interested in, because we want to create tables, right? So this is like interface to our database. Makes sense? Makes sense?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So what we will do, we will create posts, which is just, blog post is like really simple example of what we can do. And we have helper function for generating random UIDs. And let's set title as text, and content also as text, without defaults, and set primary key ID, and that's basically it. So we added this table. Now the cool part, if we go back, go to our docs, we have everything already generated. Cool, right? So we have, yeah.
I'm sorry, yeah, so you create the type and then all of the operations are created for you?
Yeah, you created, as soon as you created the table in the database, everything is created for you. So it's not only posts, it's also a bunch of input types. So like you can literally go and say, like, I want to query my posts where ID of my post is equal to something, and then return title, something like that. So everything is like auto-generated for you, right? So I don't need to write custom reducers. I don't need to worry about all these like input types, how to create them. And my post will have all of these derived from the actual database schema. Now, it has subscriptions as first-class citizen. So it's a post 10K concurrent subscription. So instead of query, if we substitute this for subscription, we have subscription running. And we have Postgres query error because this is not unique ID. So if we'll say title.
So what did you choose for the ID? I forgot. What type is the ID?
We choose unique identifier.
UUID.
Yeah, and I set to generate random UID. So right now, let's say I want to insert post, right? Then I can simply write my mutation. I'll write it as insert post, objects, and we'll say title will be first post, and content will be some text. We'll return title, returning title. So something like that. And if we now run the subscription again, we will get nothing because we have where clause. But if we remove that, we'll have our first post, right? So it's inserted in the database. Now, also a cool thing we added here, and actually it's a tool written by folks at OneGraph. So you can, if you don't want to go through the docs here and how all these generated, you can just click on things and say, oh, I want to insert post with content and title. And actually you can have these on conflicts constraints, which is pretty nice. You can say if you have this post already, you can just update the content and title or something like that. So it's a pretty nice thing to do. Anyway, so what we added here is just a simple table. We can take it further. We'll add users because we will need users for our authentication, right? So we'll say that ID I'll have text, right? Because I want to sign with Cognito. And Cognito won't give me unique identifier. It will give me some kind of, I think, right? Or am I wrong with that?
What was the question? Cognito?
Yeah, the Cognito, the type of ID that it will give me. It will be a string, right? It won't be.
Yeah, it'll be a string. You'll have two. You'll have a couple of ways to identify the user. One is going to be a unique identifier called the sub, and then the other is a unique identifier, which is the username. And I believe the most secure way is to use the subject or the sub, because if someone like deletes their username or something, like the sub cannot be reduplicated, but maybe a username could possibly be.
Yeah, actually, like I'm looking at the one of the things. It kind of resembles unique identifier, but it's not really. So yeah, let's just keep it as a string, and we will have. We'll have email of type text, and we'll have phone, also of type text. And I think that's it. I won't do anything else. Just set it as primary key as ID, add this table, have our users here. Now, let's just remove this post for a second. I'll explain why. Because I want to connect between posts and users, right? I want to set my foreign key here. So I want to say user ID will be of type text and not nullable. And I will set a foreign key. And I will reference users table. Basically, I'm just connecting post table to users table with just simple database relations. So I will say user ID is ID. Let's save that. Now this tab is basically where I add relationships to be available in, like generated in GraphQL. So if I do it like that, now I can query posts and I can query actual user with ID and email and everything. Now the cool part is it's like the whole engine itself is a compiler. So basically it will be creating one SQL.
Okay, nice. So you're able to look at the generated SQL statement.
Yeah. Now the nicest thing is we solve the n+1 problem because like in GraphQL you have this n+1 problem if you have n types and you query for each type there will be SQL statement executed, so you have n+1 SQL statements executed, right? If you create GraphQL API by yourself, so you will need to use like data loader packages and stuff like that to batch them somehow. So we kind of work around that because we have a compiler and compiles to one performance SQL statement, so there is no n+1 problem. That's also the reason why we're able to handle like so many both like subscriptions and everything. Like in terms of performance, it's really fast. So what I did here is post users, and basically I set up my API already, right? So I have posts and users, and now I will need to connect everything to Cognito, right? So I will need several things for that. Basically, what I want to say that I will have authorization token eventually, right? And it will be bearer and token, right? Mm-hmm. So now what I need to figure out is several things. First of all, how do I pass this token at all? So this will be from the client and will be fairly simple. We will set Cognito and we will get the token. We can send the token to the engine, right? So just sending it as a header. But the problem here is how do we tell Hasura which Cognito user is associated with our user? This is one problem. And second problem, how we do access control. How we actually say this user will be able to see only his posts, or like this user will be update only his data and so on, right? Mm-hmm. So for that we need several things. For just a second. So let's go. First of all, we will go to secure our endpoint. And it's really great that we like when we streamed I think months ago with Jason, there was someone just playing around with open.
Oh yeah, I remember hearing
about that. Yeah. So please don't do that. Please don't do that if you're watching. And I know it's tempting, but please don't. So we want to secure our endpoint, and we will do this for Heroku. So as it says in docs, we need to first of all add Hasura GraphQL admin secret. So in our app, we can actually manage our app, and in settings, we will here put Hasura admin. Let's just copy that. Will be faster. So we will set our admin secret. So this is the first step for any authentication. Basically, what this admin secret is about, and I'm emphasizing on this probably every stream. This is not for the client use. So this is what we will use for server-to-server communication. If we have we want full access to the engine, and we want to be able to set permissions to update stuff, we will use that. Now the second thing that we will set is this one, Hasura GraphQL JWT secret. And here we will need to set several things. we will actually let's set this later because we will need to grab some data from Cognito itself.
Okay.
I actually. No, I think I will just copy paste that. Will be faster. So with the JWT secret, we're setting the algorithm, the decryption algorithm, the Cognito IDP with the like region and stuff. I won't show the rest. So JW.
Well, where can they find this if they want to do this?
I think this is in AWS Docs. You should know.
So this is an AWS thing.
Yeah.
To decode the token on the client, basically.
Yeah. So if we
We got
just
on the server.
go to this URL, oops, sorry. If we just copy that and go to this URL, what we will see, we will see two public keys basically. And this is also used for key rotation, right? So we want to, at some point, some keys to invalidate and news to be sent, right?
And I guess I'm asking, where did you get that URL? Is that from your AWS account?
Yeah, and we will let's actually set things with Amplify, and I think we will get it from there. I looked it up in Docs, to be honest. So there is specific format that it goes. It's like
Gotcha.
Cognito, and then the region that you put here, then the
And then maybe
yeah.
the user pool ID or something.
Yeah, the user
Yeah.
pool and well-known JWK's JSON,
Right.
stuff
I
like
think
that.
you're right.
I should remove that because, yeah, you
We're
know,
gonna delete this later.
yeah, sharing this stuff is, but yeah. Anyway, so what we have here is we will add that, and now if we go to our app, back to our app, we first of all won't be able to access that because it will give us login where we'll need to set not a secret admin key to just access this console. And by the way, if you don't want this to be exposed in production, right, which you probably don't want to be, you can simply add another variable, Hasura GraphQL enable console, and put it as false here. Right, so
this basically disables authentication on the console.
yeah, it hides the console, so it's still everything works, the engine works, but it's not like not the visual part. So this is more of advanced stuff because with the we are working here visually, but you can run everything in Docker, and even not when running Docker, we have a CLI which basically can listen to everything that you do here and write a migration file. Now then you can just commit this to source control and run in CI, and I mean you will have the basic workflow of like changing in dev, then uploading to prod without worrying of doing a bunch of manual stuff through the console, right?
Cool.
Yeah. It's a pretty cool concept. So it's actually similar to Rails migrations if you've dealt with Rails in the past. So it's pretty much the same idea to run migrations. It's inspired by Rails. I mean, cool. So we have this. Now, what we'll do, we will go to just a second. Let me just bring the screen and let's create React app. Let's call it AWS React Frontend. Right, so I start with create React app, or I can actually start with Amplify init and then check that.
Let's do create React app first. I think is the best way.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of NPX these days too.
Yeah. I mean, it's so neat. It's like, yeah, you don't need to install this. Like, you just run with NPX. So then I should do Amplify init, right?
Yeah, from within the root of that project.
Mm-hmm. Now I wrote a blog post about this, like how to do that, and this blog post basically I used with Authenticator. So
Okay, nice.
I know there is like a more like this is the preferred way to do so, or
So let me see here. Let me link to a blog post. I'm gonna paste it in the chat. But there's actually a couple of ways. So there's two parts of Amplify. There's the CLI that you're using in just a moment to create the services, and then there's the client, which is kind of like the way that we interact with the services after they're created. And once you've created the service, we have a couple of different ways. One of those to interact with authentication is using the with authenticator. That's the one that you mentioned earlier. And that basically will just scaffold out a full authentication flow. So it'll give you all of the basic stuff that you need to sign up a user, sign in a user, and let them reset their password. But it kind of is limited at that. If you want to style it, you can configure the styles to an extent. But for the most part, for like real world applications, a lot of times you need to have full control. So we also have the auth class, which is the kind of main way that you would interact with your authentication service. So auth is something you would just import from Amplify, and then you have over 30 different methods that you can call on auth. So typically the ones that you might use would be auth.signup, passing in a username, password, and email, and like auth.signin and auth.forgotpassword and things like that. So there are two ways. I would say one is using the auth class, which is kind of like a full control way to do it. And then the other is using with authenticator, which helps you get up and running really quickly. And I think for this demo, we'll probably use with authenticator.
Yeah. So what I try to do? Oh, well, let's actually do this because so I do Amplify init, right, without anything, just like running Amplify init.
Yeah, you would do Amplify init, yeah.
Name of project, name of environment, dev, VS Code, JavaScript, React, source directories.
And the post that I have is called the Ultimate Guide to User Authentication with the Amplify Framework, where I walk through what we're going to be going through today, but I also walk through how to do a custom sign-up flow and also show how to do login with Facebook, Google, and Amazon.
I'm not sure which one. Okay, I think.
Oh, I'm sorry. So yeah.
I think so. These are basically profiles, my AWS profiles, right?
Yeah, these are going to be the profiles that you've created locally to reference a real user in your AWS account. Yes. And if this is your first time running Amplify Net, you first need to run Amplify configure to configure one of those users. But after you've done that, then you'll see like him, you'll have a couple of profiles to choose from as you add profiles.
Yeah. And basically I see it creates S3 buckets, IAM roles, and bunch of free. So it also will create CloudFormation, right? For the
this does two main things. It creates a CloudFormation stack, and it creates a S3 bucket, and then it creates a couple of IAM roles. But to delete everything when you're done, you can just run Amplify delete. It will clean up everything except for one S3 bucket, and you can probably need to go into your AWS account to delete that bucket. But nothing is going to be interacting with it, so it's not going to like cost you anything. But yeah, if you want to delete everything, run Amplify delete and go into your console and delete that extra S3 bucket.
Yeah, but honestly, with this example, so I tried this out, I think, a month ago, and I haven't deleted anything, which is not a good thing to go, right? I probably should have, but like I've been charged maybe, I don't know, like 50 cents or something, like even less.
You can get up to like 50,000 users for free, so it shouldn't have charged you anything.
Yeah, like I mean, like I see, I'm still not sure if it was for that or for something else.
Okay, maybe something else. Yeah, it might have been something like DynamoDB or something.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, Cognito, what we're going to be doing here allows you to create authentication service for up to 50,000 users for free, basically. Above 50,000, you can look at the pricing, but
Nice.
you start being charged at that point.
So now if I do amplify status, I will see everything that was created for me, right? If
Well, actually,
well, not really.
Amplify status will show you anything that you've added as a feature, and we haven't added any features
Ah,
yet.
right.
So
So
after we add auth, you'll see that there. So let's run Amplify add auth for adding authentication.
and will ask me if it will probably just go with Cognito. Ah, okay. It's actually
Yeah,
asking
so
me.
we can either do default, which is username and
Yeah.
password
We
and
even have social, right?
email. And then we can do social providers if you want to do OAuth with Facebook and Google and all that stuff. You can do a manual if you want to choose everything. But for the demo here, default is actually a good set of smart defaults. And we'll
Yeah.
also have multi-factor auth built in.
So let's go with email, I guess, right? So
It's up to you. Yeah.
yeah, email will be good. Yeah,
I would just leave that as the default, just the
yeah,
email.
just the email. So now if I run amplify status, I will see basically everything, like the features that we've added, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, where did it go? Okay, cool. So see this.
And then I think you still need to install the AWS Amplify libraries to your React app.
Which are
So you would just
just
run yarn add AWS Amplify and AWS Amplify React. Yeah, just like that.
cool. So I still need to do amplify push to push everything to the cloud, right?
Right, right.
So the main idea, like after we will add this cognito auth, right? We need two places to add. Well, actually, let's just add that, see it works in Cognito, and then just walk through next things that we need to do. So let's do amplify push then, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I have these here, and I supposed to see in my Cognito here another user pool, right?
Yeah, once it's done being created,
Yeah.
it should be there.
I should restart, or it will be updated live.
You might need to refresh, but while that's
Refresh.
loading, we can go ahead. We have to configure the React app to now work with Amplify.
Yeah,
So
let's
if
do
you want
that.
to do something while we're waiting, you could do that.
Oh, the OBS is everything is so slow.
Yeah, OBS is massive.
Yeah, but still, it gives us an ability to stream. So,
Yeah,
we will.
app.js and index.js we'll be working in those two.
Okay, so in index.js, I don't need to add anything basically. I have my app here, right? So I will probably need to add here.
Well, in index.js, you normally will go ahead and configure the Amplify. So I would, before the React DOM.render, I would just go ahead and import Amplify from Amplify. It's going to be a direct import. And then import the file that's aws-exports.js. You can call that whatever. I usually call that maybe config or something. and then you'll just call amplify.configure, pass in the config.
It switched to view for some reason.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
it.
Okay. And that will configure Amplify for us, right? Okay. So if we'll run that, let's just run that, make sure that everything, like nothing failed.
Okay, yeah.
And actually, I think we can also add. So to wrap this with Authenticator, we'll be wrapping our app, right?
Yeah, you can wrap that with Authenticator there. That's a good spot to do it for this example.
Wait, where was it? And we'll import that from AWS React.
Yeah, so it'll be a named import just like that from AWS Amplify React. You got it.
Okay, so let's run that. Takes way too long to load. So meanwhile, while it loads, what we can do here. Well, actually, let's just leave it as it is. Now okay. So it's supposed to show me the authentication screen, right? I cannot hear you.
Oh yeah, sorry, I was on mute. Yeah. Once it loads, it should show you that. But it seems like it's kind of crawling right now.
Yeah, because I mean, now it will be faster because this is done. So meanwhile, while it loads, let's just refresh this page. Just too much things going on. And OBS is okay, cool. So now the question is, which is which?
Unfortunately, we don't know which one it is.
Okay, I bet this is one.
Like you can go and look in your, but yeah, let's go ahead.
I can actually check this by triggers. Yeah, this is one, I think. No, not really.
Yeah, you can check and see if there's users in there. If there is, then it's not the right one.
I had several empty ones, so.
Okay,
yeah, this is this one. This is this. I just looking by the triggers because this is something we should do.
Yeah, the Lambda triggers is a cool thing.
Now this is like really essential part when we work with Hasura because we will be using pre-token generation trigger and we'll be using pre-sign-up generation trigger. Now we want.
Yeah, so basically with Lambda triggers, you can basically call a Lambda function every time a user signs up. That's basically what we're looking at here. Yeah. So you create a Lambda function, and then whenever someone signs up, that Lambda function will be invoked with an event containing that user. So a lot of times people use that event to do like all kinds of things, but one of them a lot of times is to set that user in some type of group. So if you have an admin group and you have maybe some other groups and you can you have some logic that you can check when the user signs up to tell which group that person should be associated with, the Lambda trigger can do that and then kind of set it up.
Nice. So we also have our sign-in here, sign-in screen. So it's pretty neat. Right.
So we need to sign up first, or
now the question is, so okay, I'm signed up, so I will see my app here, right? Are there any props passed to this app?
Yeah, so you'll have some props that'll have to do with Amplify's authentication. and you can kind of log those out if you'd like, just see what they are. But one thing that you can also do is pass in a second argument to with authenticator. That's an object that will allow you to have a quick and easy like sign out button. So that way we can, show different states of signed in and sign out. If we're going to be authenticating the API, it might be interesting to show.
Like
so you just pass in an argument as an object, and then the only property we want to do is a field called includes greetings, and it's camel case. So includes greetings. I'm sorry. Includes greetings is just the first value, and then is the property, and the value is true. So it includes greetings true.
Didn't get it. So includes has to be there, and then it will be greeting.
No, it's just includes greetings is a boolean. So includes
okay.
is one word. Yeah, sorry. But it's a camel case. There we go.
Something like that, right? And right. Yeah, so you basically can pass this as props, and they just go inside like our app. So basically, yeah, we can put this with authenticator at any level. If let's say we have a splash screen, right, and we want some kind of or I don't know, a wizard of sorts, and then we want to pass a bunch of properties, we can do it with that, right?
That's
something
right,
like that. Yeah. Also, if I think so, something. Let me just show you what I did with my blog post, and you will see. It will say if it's the correct way to get the actual token, because I want to print this token in the console for now. So I imported auth from AWS Amplify, right? So this is the one you told previously that I can basically use for just accessing a bunch of auth data, right?
Right.
Now, what I will do, I will get use effect, and now here I will do use effect, and inside I will basically do auth. Let me just
for an authenticated user.
Yeah. So this is the correct way to do, right?
Yeah, that's definitely the way that I normally do it. There's a couple of other methods that will give you similar data about the user. It'll just be more fine-grained data. This is kind of like the entire user configuration, everything available.
But if I want to get just the token, so I was just getting user sign in, user session, and then access token and JWT token, which is not.
I think it's something like that.
Yeah. So let's just do this, and with use effect we have this one, and the second will be just that. So we want basically the component did mount, right?
Mm-hmm.
So right now, if we run that, let's just create account, test user name. Why it's required, by the way, the phone number? It's not required, or it is?
It's not required in our configuration, but with authenticator by default it creates that field.
Okay.
So
how much?
Probably like a 10-digit field, I think.
Username should be an email.
Oh yeah, so when you set this up, you set that the username should be set to an email address.
And authenticator gives me both. Okay.
Yeah.
Password,
password needs to be
must have symbol. So let's do it like test I also need to remember that. Test like that. Okay, confirmation code. Now it's tricky because I will get code here.
There's probably no way to do that if you don't use a real email
Okay.
address.
Let me just like put this off for a second. I will create an account with my email, right? And then just a second. So it will be. And it sends to the. It sends here to email, right?
Yeah, it should send to that email
Okay.
address.
Let's
But
try
it
that.
needs to be like a real email address.
Yeah. So. And here. I should actually create fake email for these kind of demos. Okay. Actually, you know what? I don't mind. You can send me emails. If there will be spam, I will just find you.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not like anyone. is gonna
Yeah,
get
I
this.
mean, like, actually, you can send me email. I'm fine with like if you have questions and such, and you know, just feel free to send me email. If you're spamming me, well, I probably will put your after spam filter. So, okay, so I should get notification, right? So, and yeah, here it is. Got it. So let's write it down. Now I need to sign in. Cool. So we are in and we have our user and everything. Now what I refer to as a token is sign in user session, access token, JWT token. So now what we actually need to do. We need to go, basically we want to be able to go here to write to our Hasura to write authorization bearer and pass our token, right? And right now, if we remove this admin secret, we see that we don't have access to anything. So now what we should do, we should basically configure that, right? So first of all, we need our user to be written to our users table. So we have permissions tab here in Hasura, and I can define here a role and set a user role and set a bunch of permissions here. So let's say I want to say that my user can only select basically select columns when its ID equal to X Hasura user ID. So this will be parsed from the token and compared. Right? So the idea is how do I pass this thing into the token? And for that we have these pre-token generation lambdas that we can run. So then I will say that I will be able to view email info. Save permissions, and okay, fine. I will have a user role. Now, if I go to my pre-sign up, so this will be the actual trigger, and I have it already created.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So let me show you what it is. So let's. I should have saved, but anyways, let's go to Lambda. And I think, it kind of copied that. So this one that I was creating, but this one I have, like, this is a new one, like 40 minutes ago.
Interesting. 14 minutes ago. That was
Yeah, when we said Amplify, actually.
Oh, okay. So that's, yeah. So when you run Amplify add auth, it actually also creates a Lambda. So you don't really need that.
Okay, so it's empty and Lambda, basically.
Yeah, you don't need to mess with that.
Okay.
It's just there.
So I have this one, pre-sign up.
Yeah.
And what it has inside, it basically, let's take a look at the code and see what it does. So I have the admin secret and the endpoint, and it actually for a different endpoint, but I will take mine. So I will grab this one and I'll put it here. So an admin secret, that was the admin secret. So what I'm doing here, I'm saying, okay, cool, I have my admin secret endpoint. Now I need to get the email and phone number, which I will get from the Lambda, right? From the event on pre-sign up. And then I will set the ID as a username, which I'm not sure if it's a proper thing to do, but I mean, I want it to be unique by email, so I can also set sub, right?
Right. The sub would be on the user attributes as well, but the username is directly on the event. Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, if you want to do the sub, you could do event.request.userattributes.sub.
Yeah. So basically, like, I'm just taking the username and I'm saying, okay, this is the endpoint, and actually let's remove those from here. Oh. Yeah. Yeah. By the way, we are not alpha, so it's v1. What was that? v1 GraphQL, and what I'm doing here, I'm just sending this mutation. So I'm just adding this user when I'm signing up, right? And yeah, that's how I add it. And this is the first place to add it into the system. Now the second place, I need to compare that, right? So let's just save that.
So that's interesting that I've noticed a couple of times. I noticed that when you're doing a mutation, you're not just adding a single item. You can actually add an array. And
yeah.
But when you want to add a single item, you just add a single item in the array.
Well, I can just add an object.
Okay.
It's not necessary.
Yeah, I was kind of curious. What's the
benefit?
It's the mutation for adding a single object.
You can just write an object instead of array.
Oh, interesting. Oh, so you can just add,
so you can just do like mutation, add user, and inside you can say insert users, objects, and you can just add an object.
Oh, nice. Okay, that's what I was wondering. Okay.
Now also the cool part.
That's pretty nice because I know when you're doing with AppSync, if you have to upload multiple items, it's a different operation completely. But it would be nice if it could all be combined into one operation.
And also the cool part, you can do something like that. So I want to add title content. Now I also want to add the user. So user will have data, and now I can add both of them, both posts and users, which is pretty neat. Like something like that. Now, it's really useful when you want to, let's say I have a user and I want to add an ID and whatever. Let's say, I don't know, some kind of ID, right? Now, I'm not sure if this user exists, or let's just show affected rows. I'm not sure if this user exists, so I can say on conflict, if I have a constraint of user's primary key, meaning users already exist, update columns, email. And then what it will do, it will try insert post, it will try to insert user, and if it will fail on like primary key constraint, if user already exists, it will just update the column. Which is pretty cool, like have all these on conflicts thing already implemented, and you don't need to worry about all of this. Yeah, but let's just get back here. So what we actually already created that. So it's connected as a trigger. Now what we will try to do is we will go back to our app, our React app, and let's just clear. With Authenticator stores that in local storage, right?
Yeah, you should stay signed in. But I'm wondering why we're not seeing the include greetings true button. Did you save it when you made that change?
I haven't added like I have it as a pro, but I haven't added to UI. So.
Oh, okay.
So we have this authenticator, and now what's supposed to happen? Not sure if it will happen, but let's try that. When we will create an account, then our user will be added to Hasura, right? So beforehand, let's just remove the user so we won't have collisions. So if I go to Cognito, this was that one, right? And where was that? So users and groups, right? Users and groups. And I think it was this one. Yeah. I cannot delete it. I can just disable.
Yeah, disable and then delete.
Ah, okay. And I had another one unconfirmed for some reason. Don't know what's that. Let's just delete this user. So now back to our React app. Where was it? Let's create username, and it will be let's create this account and confirmation code. Let's see what I've got. It's 453760. Okay, now hopefully I will be able to sign in. Actually, let's go to our data, users. Okay, I need to delete again. We haven't saved our trigger, so we assigned this Lambda function, right, to our trigger, but we haven't saved that.
Oh, that's right. I think I remember that happened. You said you never saved it.
Yeah, you see. Pre-sign up. Let's save changes. Now if we go to users and groups, no users. Go back here, create an account. Let's see if it works now. I think as soon as it's it hasn't failed on this screen, it means it worked. Maybe, I don't know.
We'll see. I think so.
Cool. So we have it here. You see?
Nice.
Yeah. And we got our phone, got our email, and we have our ID. Which is actually weird, you know why? Because it was a username, right, in a Lambda, but we got the sub.
What was the Lambda function again? Can I look at it?
So event sub probably gives you.
Oh, you know what? Remember now that you're doing, you changed the sign up type from username to email address.
Yeah.
The email address is not stored in Cognito as the username. If that makes sense.
Okay, got it.
That way, I think it's kind of turned into some encryption or something like that's been run on, or I would say more like it's been run through some algorithm to create some unique ID, I guess is the best way to put it.
Got it. So username just gathers a unique identifier, and
but basically it'll be a unique ID that you can use to reference.
Perfect. That's what we actually needed. So that's cool. Now the second thing that we need to add is something called custom claims. And let me show it here. So I know like AWS doesn't support nested claims, or it has changed. I don't know. You tell me.
When you say nested claims, like, do you mean like having an object with different fields as opposed to just a flat object?
Yeah, like instead of string.
Yeah, I don't think so.
So like instead of a string, so the thing is like previously, and I'm talking about like half year ago or something like that, or a little bit more than that, it wasn't possible to add Hasura custom claims to AWS because of that thing, right? So we added these features. So right now, if you add claims format in Hasura GraphQL JWT secret,
it needs to be like some type of string. Yeah.
Yeah. So if it's stringified JSON, we know how to parse that.
It would work. Yeah.
Yeah. So right now, what we need to add is pre-token generation, and we have it here. I think it's this one. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think it's this one. Let's see if it works, and then we'll see the code. So I will try to log in. I was pretty sure I was right with the password. Okay, yeah, I'm logged in. So what I want to see now, if I go to sign in user session, access token, JWT token, if I get that and go to JWT IO, then it can actually read these custom claims from my token. So if it can, then I basically kind of close the circle, and I can pass the access or user ID to Hasura. But no, it's still not here. Okay. I think I haven't copied everything, maybe. Because it's saying in the valid signature. Okay. So now the question is, if I update my trigger here with custom lambda for pre-token generation, I need to like log out and log in?
When you mean log out and log
Like
in before you...
I've been like I sign up with a new user, right?
Right.
Now actually, you know what? I think I copied just the wrong token. But yeah, let's just do it again. So I meant like it takes time to refresh this, like to run this lambda after like I saved everything. It applied immediately, like the connection.
Yeah, it should apply like
Okay.
literally immediately.
Okay. Let's see it now. If not, we'll just figure out what's wrong with the lambda. Okay, so it is client sign sign in user session access token. Okay, I think, did I take the JWT token last time or ID token? It's pretty much the same. It's the same, right? You on mute.
Yeah, the ID token contains the JWT as well as some additional info.
Okay. It also have the payload. Okay, got it. Okay, let's try it now. No, still not happening. So let's check the actual lambda, and I will just show you the code. So maybe I make a mistake there. So what's wait, where am I? What's happening? I want to set custom claim right before my token is generated. So basically, I want to get this user ID and pass it further as X Hasura variable. So this is this lambda. Okay, got it. No, it's just the wrong lambda.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I think it was this one that I need to connect to. Yeah, it's not. Wait, what? No, not this one either. Oh, wait a second. It may okay. So this.
It's not. It's
Yeah, it's supposed to be this one.
not the auth example. No.
No, because like I already created this lambda, right? So that's why
Okay.
I'm looking at it. Okay, but it has okay. Anyways, I can just try this lambda. This is not a problem. So what we can do, we can go here. This is our new lambda, right? And what we can add our index handler, we can write something like this. This is the default, right?
I think there might be a way to format the code, but anyway, yeah.
We can do
Okay,
something
cool.
like this. So basically what we're doing, we're getting event context callback, and for response, we set claims override details, and we add with JSON stringify everything, right?
Cool.
So basically the main idea is we have list of allowed roles, and we have the default role anonymous, which will be if, yeah, that will be just the user role. And for anonymous user, we don't want to show anything. And user ID will be the sub, and user role, this is just for the admin. So basically, user role will check if my sub is this one.
Is that the sub that you're currently using? Is that your current sub for the logged in user you just created?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Just a second. I wonder why it's not like why I don't have this lambda setup, because
Maybe it's in a different region or something. I don't know.
It might be, but no, actually, because if I use Cognito, it's region specific or it's not?
Yeah, it is region specific.
Ah, okay. And I don't need user here. It's Hasura role, by the way. So basically, the default role is this one, but if it's not the sub, which is an admin, hey, another. I think either you stopped camera or you just logged off something. Let's see. Let's wait for another to reconnect. Yeah, he just messaged he's reconnecting back. So meanwhile, we've been here. So basically, what I'm checking, if this is sub, then it's admin. Otherwise, it's a user. Right? So let's save that. And what we'll try to do is go to our Cognito, user pools, this user pool, and let's just delete our user, because no, this user actually let's just leave it, because we don't need sign up, we just need pre-token generation. So for triggers, we'll set this as this one, save changes. And now let's try to clear the data, reload that, and we will see our app working, hopefully. I think this was the right password. Come on. Okay, cool. Now let's see what's going on with the sign user session, access token, JWT token. Let's put it inside JSON web tokens here. And yeah, that's weird. Let's see what's wrong. This is the live coding, so I hope we saved everything. Let's go to our Lambda. This was the Lambda. Okay, so we have this. Handler. Getting this anonymous request, Hasura role. Yeah, should do. Don't need environment variables. Not sure for execution role though. But yeah, it looks like it's supposed to work. Let's see what's happening there. Okay, for our triggers, we'll already have pre-sign up, post, and pre-token generation. Okay, let's see. And this one, already tried this one. Yeah. It looks like it's the same token, so it might be the same token that it gave me after sign up or something, and now it just doesn't invalidate that and keeping it as the same token. I don't know. We still get this. Let's maybe sign up with different user. Let's clear that. Not sure though that I will be able to sign up. Oh, okay, let's just do maybe the following. Where was my cognito? Yeah, over here. So users and groups. We have this user. Let's just delete this user and do the full workflow with everything. Now let's go to Hasura and delete our users from here. Okay, now what we'll try to do, we'll create an account, we will set our new user, and we'll hope for a new token. Okay, the confirmation that I got is 998-709. Let's confirm that. Now let's see that this worked. Okay, we have our user. Now let's try to log in with our user. Come on, what happened here? Okay. I hope it's a different token. Where was it? Sign in user session, ID token, JWT token. Let's write it here. Cool. Now we have it. So we found the issue, which is cool. So the issue was because we sign up with this user already, and the token was already generated for this user, and we added Lambda later on. It just gave us this user with like the old token. So right now you can see that we have both the event, which is like a custom, both the where is it? We have, okay, this one. So we have the custom claim, and Hasura IO JWT claims, that's the key, and inside this is what we need. We have the anonymous user admin, default role is anonymous, user ID is this one, user role is user, and custom is just custom value. So right now, if we take this token, and we put it inside here, here will be our token. If we remove our admin secret, now let's see what we'll have. We won't have anything yet. Let's see what we have for permissions. We have select permissions, email and phone, and our custom permission is that ID is equal to Hasura user ID. Now let's see what's wrong with the token. I think we haven't saved this one. We already added that. Let's try to reload that. If we remove, this token is not parsed properly. Let's see why. Or maybe we haven't set up our, okay, our JWK URL is fine. But we need to get it from, I think, from Cognito Docs or something. So it's like the region and the user pool. Yeah, so it's this one. I think let's double check which one we have. We had this one, we had that one. Okay. So we need to get US West here and put it like so. So then we will be able to parse our token. because we need to get JWK URL from the actual user pool. So right now we will say we try to decrypt the token by using JWK URL of a totally different user pool. So that's why it's not working. Let's see if it will work now. And let's remove that. Cool. We have query root. We already know that we can parse that, which is good already, but we don't have any permissions set up, which is weird. We have this ID. And let's see what is passed to as Hasura user ID. So this is the user ID, and the role is the user. So let's get back to our permissions tab and set this role. Hey. You're on mute.
Hey, am I on mute still?
Yeah. Okay, we figured this out.
Hey, sorry about that. My computer camera is completely jacked right now. I had to actually restart my computer.
Okay, so, I'm glad you're back. So we kind of needed your help, but we figured this out.
Okay, what was the issue?
Yeah, so we were getting the same old token because we ran sign up. And AWS generated this token. So when using sign-in, it was just getting this token without generating that, right? And that's why we were getting old data. So basically, I just removed all users, sign up again, and it worked. And right now, we can see here in our token, we can see everything. Like custom claims that was set up, and we have allowed roles and anonymous user and everything basically that we wrote in Lambda, right?
Cool.
Now we have another issue though that we figuring out right now. So we have this JWK URL, and you asked previously where I took this from, right? So basically, you go to your general settings to a user pool, and you get your like the pool and the pool ID, right?
Right.
So
that's where you end up updating that JWK.
Yeah. So I updated that with the proper pool, and yeah, we're on US West too, and with this one. So in the end, what we have here, we have the query root, but we don't have anything except that. So I'm figuring out what I did wrong here in permissions tab. So yeah, so we are basically here. Let's just try to do just basic select here. We'll see what's wrong. Okay, I know what. So the thing is, we said, and let me just validate that. Anonymous, and let's select without any checks. Just set it like that. Cool. Yeah, that was what I was thinking. So we set allowed roles as anonymous user and admin, right? So it means in data tab, we need to have all these three roles. So for each role, we can configure things. So for user, we can say that user can select, can see like only users where ID is equal to Hasura user ID. And he will be able to see his email and phone. Now we can do the same for posts. We can say, okay, my user will be able to see posts only from himself. So I will say that my post user ID has to be equal to access Hasura user ID. Now it brings all of these from the token.
JWT?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Now the cool part, what do I do with insert? So let's say I want to insert posts, right? Right now I want to do an insert, but I don't know my user. I don't know my user ID. I don't want to know that. So what do I need to do here? For post, I will add an insert permission for the user.
This is under user, okay.
Yeah, and I will say you will be able to insert only if your user ID is equal to user ID. It's one thing, and you'll be able to insert title content. Now, in addition to that, I will say that user ID will be from session variable.
Ah, cool.
Yeah, so now what I can do, I can say...
and you've set the session variable right there at the top of the screen.
The session variable actually is coming from the token, so...
Oh, it's coming from the token. But
Yeah.
what if you want to test it from the graphical editor, I guess is what I'm saying.
That's what I will do right now.
Okay, gotcha.
Just a second, I don't see it updates for some reason. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. Just a second. So I have a user. I want to. I think I need to have a select here too. Let's see, mutations generate. Now we have only posts and users. Now for insert, we want to say, yeah, we actually want to say only if user ID equal. So that was right. Insert these ones, and preset, we want to take user ID from session variable. Let's see. Huh, that's odd. I still don't have permissions here for the insert. Let me just try something. I probably do something wrong. That's fine. Happens. It can be a little bit confusing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, authentication and authorization are definitely...
Yeah, it's like, you know. Okay, this is fine. Select is fine. Now this is supposed to be working. Let me just reload that. Maybe it wasn't applied or something. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. So let's insert with custom check. Okay. Actually, it was admin secret. It was added. Subscriptions are fine. Queries are fine. Okay. I think I also need to do user. So for post, I have post connects to users, so that's why I might need users insert permissions too. Even though it's not insulting to user. I'm just thinking out loud.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Post, this is fine. Okay. We want to see title content user. This was for anonymous, right? Column select, that's fine. and insert. For anonymous. That's odd. Wait, did I have the, yeah, relationships are fine. Let's maybe just delete these permissions and I'll set this up again. So not sure what happened there. Okay, these were deleted. These, let's also delete these. Okay, now we won't have anything because we don't have permission for that. Now for post, let's just add user will be able to select post with user ID equal to Hasura user ID and to select title content. And that's it. That's what user will be able. Anonymous will be able to won't be able to do anything basically. So right now we're supposed to see only query subscriptions. Now another thing that we need to add for user role, we'll have custom check for insert when we'll check that our user ID is equal to Hasura user ID, and we want to set user ID from session variable as this one. Yeah, it's still not showing. I'm not sure. So I'm probably doing some mistakes here because, you know.
I mean, I think I saw one in one of the presets. Instead of using user ID, you may have just set ID maybe. In the Hasura dash thing, not here, but maybe somewhere else, maybe. That may have been.
In column presets.
Yeah, in one of the column presets for one
No,
of
it's
those.
not that. Like even if I remove that, so the problem is what I'm not seeing now, which is weird. Ah, okay. Wait. Maybe that was the problem. Permissions updated. Basically, what I need here is insert permissions for like mutations to be created. Well, maybe it thinks I'm anonymous user or something. Let's try that. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I think it just thinks I'm anonymous. So because wait just a second. Okay. Yeah, so here's the mistake is I was setting the default role as anonymous and was supposed to be as a user. So I'm thinking that I'm like a user and in fact I'm anonymous. Okay, that was
that's something in the that's from the Lambda function.
yeah for custom claims. So I was supposed to do this here instead of doing it in accessor role here. Which is fine. Okay, we understood the problem, and right now what we'll do, let's just pretend that our anonymous is a user. Okay, so what I will do here is I will set custom check that my user ID is equal Hasura user ID, and I will set preset to take user ID from session variable, which will be user ID, and for column insert permissions will be title and content. Now I'll have this insert post mutation, right? So now what I can do, I can insert post and say that it will be title first post and content some text, and let's return affected rows. Now let's run that, have affected rows. Now if we go to our post, we will see it's already associated with the user. You see here? So our post is associated to our user, and this is the user from Cognito, right? So
Right.
yeah, so that's basically it. So we have authentication. We have we haven't created like our UI, but we have like the you just think of adding, you know, buttons and stuff and just doing queries and subscriptions. But we have our API. We have authentication using Cognito. We used Amplify, which was like super straightforward to just add that. So what it actually adds in addition to like setting user pools? It's user pools, identity pools. What else?
So what else does Cognito kind of have out of the box?
No, I mean what like we did with Amplify add auth, right?
Oh yeah. So it created the user pool, it created the identity pool. It set up, you know, pretty much the entire authentication service, and from there you can then associate Lambda triggers, Lambda functions to trigger when you do any of the different processes there. I think you saw a function that you can run on sign up, sign in. Maybe I don't really know all the other things that you can do, but yeah. And from there, you can then add other authentication providers. So if you want to then add Facebook, Google, all of that stuff, and you can actually, the cool thing about Amplify is you can have all of these different types of users under a single umbrella. So what we call that is a pool of users, a user pool. That's kind of like what this is. That means if someone signs in with Google, if they sign in with their email, if they sign in with Facebook, they're all together. So you can have a consistent set of users to then authenticate against an API like Hasura. Because in Hasura, you're looking for a unique identifier to associate with this user.
Yeah.
But the thing is, a lot of times when you sign in with Google and Facebook and all these other things, they all have a little bit different identity information. So we kind of like make it all, part of the user pool, and then give a single unique identifier that you can use, and that would be typically the subject.
Yeah, and this is like super cool to have all these authentication providers, and you know it's just like two Lambda functions that we have here, and you've seen like these Lambda functions are like literally like 20 lines of code.
Create a dashboard, like a real-time dashboard using Hasura, even where you would call a Lambda function that would basically do like this, where you basically create a new user, and then you could call a GraphQL subscription on that user table in Hasura, and then have like a graph. And then as people sign up, you can see in real time, people signing up. That's one thing to do, like with Lambda functions. You can with this. Another thing is doing the claims like you did. That's a very popular use case. assigning people into different roles. Definitely, those are all very common use cases.
Yeah, and I mean, like for charts specifically. So I'm just trying to find this out to share. So there is GraphQL to chart.js library, which is basically it's under if you go like to hasura.io and go to GitHub. If you go to GitHub, you will see in the community section, you will see a bunch of tools that we have. So we have a tool that basically generates child.js graph for you from your data. So it can be pretty nice for this like real-time dashboard that you said. So yeah, let's just go to GitHub and let me show you where it resides. So we have like this tool with the Explorer here. It's also available as something online. So if you go to Hasura GraphQL engine, go to community, so have tons of stuff here. But like in tools section, there is GraphQL to child.js, and basically it will just render all these real-time data, like the graph, and yeah, it's like you do it like that, and it's like super simple, and it creates this chart.js graph. And for this like Explorer tool, this is like graphical online. So if let's say you're not using Hasura as for like you have your own GraphQL server, you can just type it here and add headers. And speaking of which, if you have your own GraphQL server, so something that I haven't mentioned, it's like not a topic of this stream, but just to let you know, so we have these remote schemas and events, right? Mm-hmm. So here, actually I like this example. So if I go to Heroku and let me just go to dashboard, show you something really cool. So basically with remote schemas, you can connect it to your custom GraphQL server, or you can write custom reducers if you expose them as GraphQL schema. So something...
well, you have a lot of apps.
yeah. This is just the beginning of the list, so like it's like that.
Cool.
Yeah. So if so, this is just like Star Wars API, right? And Star Wars API wrapped with GraphQL. This is something available somewhere on GitHub. You can search for that. And I think they did it in kind of. I think they did it with Relay, because we have all they have all these connections and stuff. Now the cool part, I can go to Hasura and say, okay, you know what? I want this blog post, but I want to Star Wars also. So I can just add this URL and add remote schema, and you're done. Like I can now get all films and like everything.
Nice.
Yeah, and which is super cool. So like you can not only create your custom logic, right? You can just integrate your own server and let's say use Hasura for authentication and like access control, because usually like access control is really a heavy topic to implement yourself. So here you have it already. And in addition to that, you have these events, which is also a cool thing. You can create an event trigger, which will trigger serverless function, microservice API, or just go into event queue. And yeah, this is just in a nutshell. We have other stream talking about that, but this is like out of scope of this this stream. And yeah, cool. So I think we achieved everything we wanted, right? And
yeah, pretty much. It would be cool. So you have this set up in like a blog post somewhere already?
Yeah. So okay. It's on. Let me just share it. It's on Medium, it's on dev.to. Let me just find it somewhere, like on my dev.to. account. So it's this one.
I don't see it.
I shared it in Twitch chat, but
Twitch. Okay, cool.
yeah.
Okay,
But
nice.
basically,
Very in depth. Oh, I'm gonna follow Hasura on Twitter. On dev.to. I thought it already was. Let me see.
yeah. So basically, yeah, it's like going through everything that we created today.
Oh, awesome.
But yeah, and actually more than that, right? So like we have here also set up with CLI. So everything will be like migrations will be written and like bunch of stuff here. Yeah, pretty much the same thing that we went through today. And
Cool.
yeah.
Well, thanks for having me on today. It's
Cool.
been really cool. I'm gonna go over this article and try to implement this myself. And usually when I try to do something after seeing it and doing it myself, I kind of solidify it because I want to be able to talk to people about this stuff. And I think doing it myself will be a good experience.
Yeah, sounds good. If you have any questions regarding like what Hasura does and like help and stuff, and we can just collaborate on some really cool demo. Can always be cool. And yeah, it was really great having you on Hasura Streams. And yeah, you stream also on weekly basis,
right?
We
don't see enough of each other. Me and Vladimir were just hanging out on Paris. We see each other
literally like 3 days ago, right? Something like that. 4 days ago.
More than I see my wife.
Like 4 days ago, something like that, right?
Yeah, just 4 days ago. We were in Paris. Now we're in Israel and Mississippi.
Yeah. And I think in June I will be in Berlin at World Congress and at GraphQL Conf. I think you also be there, right? At the GraphQL Conf.
I will not be at GraphQL Conf this year, no, but it's a great event, and I'm jealous that you're going to be there.
But you will be at Chain React, right?
I will be at Chain React.
Yeah, so we'll see you in a month.
I'll be at NodeConf next week and in Amsterdam, and then I'll be at React Norway the week after. So if anyone is watching this between now and then, like I know on YouTube or whatever, or live, I'll be there. So
yeah, so sounds good. Cool, thanks, man. And yeah, was a cool stream. And yeah, talk to you later.
See you later.
Yeah,
thanks for having me again.
Bye.
See you later, dude.
Okay, cool. So let's so see you everyone on our streams later on, like on a weekly basis. We're here every Thursday. Today was really a bit different stream. With Nader was really cool. And yeah, see you on next Thursday. There will be someone else from my team streaming because I will be at the conf, but later on you'll see me on other streams. And thanks for watching. Bye.